am Dr. Velo Govender. I am a social worker by profession. I am married. Actually, last week was 27 years to Ricky Govender, an incredible man. We have two children, Jishnavi and Michelle, 25 and 21 years. I'm an individual and family therapist, and I'm also the marketing and HR executive of my husband's company, JRV Spares in General. Being a social worker, I've served in the NGO sector for over 15 years. So I worked primarily with children, with the elderly, so very involved in trying to develop communities with the elderly and working with vulnerable children. And then I went into academics. I think being a mother and having a husband working in a business and owning a business, there were a lot of challenges. So eventually I chose to actually find something more flexible. And that is when I decided to take something part-time at KZN and UNISA. So I was also being able to fulfill my motherly duties to both my children. And during that time, that is when I took on to do my master's at KZN, while my husband was also able to continue with the business. And through then, we were able to grow the business as well. And he worked tirelessly, should I say, to actually accomplish a lot during that time. So trying to still strike the balance between family, home, and my career. And I think you get to a point where, you have to make that decision, because I think having both of us running around each other's ends and, working tirelessly 7 days a week. And I'm glad I was so privileged to have that opportunity where I was able to have the flexibility of still having my career and still being a mother to the children, and for me that is so important, and I still maintain that even now, still be able to still continue my career, still be able to work in the business with Ricky and still be able to support the children. Yes. I think, my daughter, for example, now is 25. She's just graduated. She started her first job and actually moved to Cape Town. And I think for me, it's about working towards liberating her. And she seems to be very motivated in terms of business and entrepreneurial skills. And I think it's about that now. It's about trying to look at how do I support her in trying to develop her into becoming the woman that I have, with whatever the little resources that I had. And now the fact that we are more set up, we'll be able to assist her at a younger age to be able to achieve more. So yes, and I think that's what it's all about. Over the past few years, we've encountered quite a bit recently, and 3 months ago, I actually graduated with a PhD at 51 years. So for me, that was remarkable. I think it has actually shown that no matter how old you are, that anything is possible, So through a lot of dedication, commitment, resilience, I was able to find the balance between my career, home, as well as my studies, and still be able to fulfill that dream of actually obtaining my PhD at this age. It was on social workers, on the whole impact of neoliberalism and new managerialism on social workers within the child welfare sector. Because I've come from a social work background and in welfare for many years, I was very concerned on the challenges that social workers have been exposed to for many years and still enduring challenges. And the study focused on and after many years, what are some of the challenges that they still are experiencing and what is being done. So basically what has happened is that just recently I hosted my sample group, that it was 130 social workers at a breakfast, where we spoke about the outcome of the study. And I want to actually mention, I was very impressed, where we actually had the National Minister of Social Development, Ms. Lindiwe Zulu, that graced us with her presence at the event, and she was actually so impressed with the efforts made that I was able to take the study forward and talk about the results. And she said, not many people normally do studies and normally take it forward. It's always put away into a shelf and collects dust. And for me, that is what it was about. It was about the study was done and then what? So I think from here, it's about taking it now further to other provinces, that these were the challenges, but where to from here? What are we going to do as a group, as social workers, And I think that is what it's about, is not just to be quiet. And I think creating, lobbying, creating a voice, giving social workers a voice. And I just feel something drastic and radical has to be done. And it is through the study, I'm hoping that I'm able to now work with the social workers and government, by the way. So, and to be able, so that's what the plans are. Within the business perspective, my husband's construction spares company. As I said, I'm part of the company as well, where I do the marketing and HR. We actually want to also take the company globally and Southern African regions, and to involve the children. My daughter's an engineer, my son's a third engineering student, and they're also very involved with business. So we want to use their skills to diversify and expand the business. So that's the aim as well. To young girls is that the world is your oyster, that take whatever you have. It's not always about the money. Whatever resource are in front of you, use it. Network, just throw yourself at whoever's in front of you and go out there. Use whatever skills that you have. Knowledge is so important. So go out there, just try and fulfill yourself with whatever knowledge you're able to obtain, skills that you're able to develop, and use that. And for me, I think it is important, as I said, once again, is to network with the right people. And then you probably ask, how will I know what the right people are? You wouldn't know. Just set yourself out there, go out there, meet up, and you just never know who may come out. Out of 100 people that you speak to, 5 may just be, out of that lot will be somebody that you'll be able to connect with, that will assist you with something that you're passionate about, and will be able to assist you with starting anything that you want to do. And I think that is exactly what it is with my practice that I'm doing at the moment, is having collaborative training workshops with women in terms of, having people that can come in to set them up with different skills, like training on technology, finance, good governance. And for me, that's so important for women to have those resources. And how are they able to access them? So being able to network is so important. And for me, that is so key. So for young women out there, just let yourself go out there, and just, it is out there. It is out there. Don't sell yourself short, and that's what it's all about. For me, that's what my entire goal in life is about. It's tough. I'm not going to lie to you. Life is challenging. Trying to find a balance between a career, your family, is not easy, but it's possible. Just to mention, 5 years ago, I actually had a brain tumor, and I underwent 2 head operations, which was one of the worst challenges of my entire life. And nobody wants to ever be told that you have 1 week to live. And eventually, that is actually when I just registered for my PhD. So life just came to a standstill. So 1.5 years of recovery, post-operative complications, and my life came to a standstill. But I had to deal with that, deal with the complications, going for rehab. And then after that, it was like, what happens then? So I picked up and I decided I need to do something. God had given me a second chance of life for a reason. What do you do with it? I could sit back and say, I could not speak. I had a problem with my eyes. I had short-term memory problems. But I used now my position to work with other people being diagnosed with critical illness. So from a personal and professional capacity, I started reaching out to others that have been involved in something critical or any trauma. And that's exactly how my practice actually originated. And I continued with that. And I found that, people actually were coming through because they sat listening because they knew I was coming from an original safe space, that I knew what I was, she knew, she's been there. I know what it's like to have your hair shaven off. I know what it's like to be in hospital for 6 months. So that really helps people to really understand what their traumas were and how to heal. And then in 2021, I decided to restart my PhD again. And I was told by KZN, you only have 1 year left. And my supervisor said, it's impossible because you have to restart all over again. And I looked at it and I said to my husband and my family, give me this year and I really want to do this. And I was so blessed. I had an excellent mentor that worked with me, and I was also blessed to actually have a bursary from. And together with that, I sat 7 days a week, and I wrote. I wrote 7 days a week. So as I said, it's through a lot of commitment, resilience, and hard work. You have challenges. There'll always be. Yes, there were many times I closed that book. I cried. I sobbed. There was no need to do it. I really didn't need it. I was not going back to academics. I didn't want to do research. So why do this? Yes, the doctor title does sound nice. I'm not going to deny that. But after all said and done, when I did submit it 1.5 years later, it was exactly 5 years since the date of my surgery. And I just thought there was a reason for this. And now after all done, and the outcome of the results of that study, it's amazing what has come out, and it's actually made a difference, as I mentioned earlier, where when I did disclose the results and I had the minister attend, who was so impressed with it and said, I'm now taking this to national. So there was a reason. It has made a difference. So there was a purpose for that. It's about never giving up. No matter who tells you what, that if you put your mind to it, that there will be challenges. There's never a person that I know that has no challenges. But it's about how you restructure your life, how you prioritize, and figure what is important. Yes, you have to be selfish, in a good way, and realize, how much do I want this, and do whatever it takes. And put it, because, it's easy to say, I don't have the space, I don't have the resources, but find a way, and you'll see anything's possible. So, yeah. Well, that took me by surprise. When I was called and said, we're coming to interview, where did this come from? I think for me, I'm hoping that being part of this will actually create a platform for me to take through what I'm actually planning to do in terms of being a social worker, in terms of giving women a voice out there, to be advocates for women, to say that you are being heard. So I'm hoping that I'll be able to accomplish that through this platform.